Hello, Nethood. How's it going today? Oh my goodness. What a funky day today. How's everybody doing? Let's see. We're just fixing some settings and we'll be right there. So we are live and happy Friday, everybody. Oh my goodness, it's been quite the day. Oh my gosh. So it's taking me a little longer, so I'm a minute late. I hope you will all forgive me for being a minute late. And my mom is here. So welcome, Mom, as we gather the troops. Thank God I see you on YouTube, and Ivory is here. Hello, Ivory. Welcome. Glad you could make it today. Say hi to Mom. That's Vivian. For all of you popping on, just gathering the troops a little bit. So what a day, what a day. That's okay if you don't stay for the whole thing. I know we're like here for an hour, but I always like if you stop by and say hello. And as we gather the troops from near and far, although I didn't really tag too many people, which I might do. Hello, Richard. Kind of welcome back. I know you were here for a bit last week, and then I think you popped out for a little bit, but glad to see that you're here as we begin, because this is going to be a very interesting little show today. And, and I think I was very affected leading into it. So that's where oh, yay, Janet's here. She says, hello. How's things in California? You sent all your rain this way. So we've been pouring all day. I got absolutely soaked earlier, coming back from the gym. It's been just a kind of a crazy weather day. But how's everybody doing? How's your energy these days? I might just jump right in, because we're, as we gather, but it's so good to see everybody, and I'm just going to take a little sip. So what a day, what a day, what a day, what a week, what a last few weeks. So hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. And welcome to our Friday edition, which is TGIF of Insight and the Curious and Enlightened. I am your host, Debbie Tatel from Spirit Light Insight. I am a clairvoyant, an energy healer, spiritual teacher, spiritual mentor and guide. And I am focused on sharing insight, guidance, and inspiration for the human spirit. Welcome. Angela is here from the other side of the world. Excellent. In this week's Insight for the Curious and Enlightened, we are talking about how easy it is to scatter our energy and why we do it. Why do we get scattered? And the term scatterbrained is not just it's a real thing. It's when our energy is scattered, and why we do it and what happens when we do it. And in the meditation at the end, we're going to restore our energy and use simple psychic healing techniques to practice and master our own energy flow. Not so that we can be perfect and never get scattered, but so that when we do get scattered, that we can reset our energy and call it back to ourselves so that we are whole and complete. Anytime we talk about healing, we're talking about being whole and complete. So if you have ever felt in your whole life or had the experience of feeling scattered, you are not going to want to miss this one. Stick around. If you can't stick around, definitely revisit the replay or the podcast later on so that you can listen to the whole thing, including the meditation. So we were talking a little bit about the crazy weather. I saw a weird post the other day that said, I think Mother Nature's off her meds because like we're in winter here and it's warm and it's pouring rain. It's thunderstorming and hailing last night in California, and it's sunny today. So there's kind of lots going on in the world. And I wonder, like, how does that affect you when it's getting a little bit crazy out there in the world? We're still getting our hellos. So yes, welcome, Tom. Wow, you did good. You put everyone else in there. Good report from your doctor yesterday. Excellent. Congratulations. I don't know what's going on, but I'm very happy to hear that. That's great. It can be a challenge not to match the crazy energy of this world. Yeah, it is a challenge, and it doesn't matter. It's a challenge for me to match it. But again, we're going to match it mostly because we're sensitive and we're healers, and matching energy is actually an incredible ability to have. It's what keeps us connected and able to communicate nicely, right? And be able to, they talk about communication at a certain level. And so it's actually a superpower. But when we start to match the energy of crazy and the energy of chaos, that is when we go left. And again, it's not about that we're never going to match it, but it's about recognizing and having the awareness that we are matching that energy and then resetting our energy so that we don't match it. Because usually that's kind of in the lower vibrational, when it's kind of crazy or way, way, way high. But when we can match at our own sort of comfortable body vibration. Oh, it's good to hear. And so it is, I do love this. I'm still like 5 years old when it comes to the fact that we have someone here in New Zealand and they're on the other side of the world. So they're coming into their autumn. So it's cool, but sunny days. So yeah. So this is all about us and resetting our energy and the ability to reset our energy as we go. So we're going to talk a lot about scattered energy, and then we are going to reset like little champs. It's going to be great, but I need to fix something here. Hang on 1 second. It's thank you for your patience when I do this. I'm still, something is not quite right. Apologies. I don't have anybody, kind of running this thing, so it's just me. So when I see an adjustment, I'm just going to make it. Thank you all for indulging me in that. It's wow. Yeah, isn't it crazy the weather? Like it's like whiplash. We're all getting whiplash no matter where we are. Yes, global warming is a real thing. Wait, my mom must have said something because Janet says obviously Vivian and I think alike. So I'm not. That is probably true. So for some reason I did not see that comment. So apologies, Mom, whatever it was. I'm going to go with whatever Janet said, and I love it. So anyway, before we get into our theme and meditation for the week, I want to say Happy International Women's Day to everyone around the world. Today, I guess this International Women's Day started in, I believe it was 1911. I'm not going to go into the history. You can Google it. It's IWD because there's a lot of different websites, but it's IWD, International Women's Day. And It is all about honoring women, and this year's theme is inspiring inclusion. And I think it's really important that we as women support each other and lift each other up and support all that we are doing and celebrate all of our achievements. Sometimes women do this competition thing, which is a little bit crazy, but on this day, we are celebrating everyone. So happy International Women's Day to everyone out there. I am celebrating you, celebrating your energy, celebrating all your achievements, and do say hi and we'll give you a special shout out. So yes, and Tom is reminding us, I'm going to get to some reminders, but we change our clocks an hour. No, I thought it's spring ahead. No, it's spring ahead. Yeah, we spring ahead, not back. I would love that extra hour, but we are springing ahead. And I've already been on and I do this like weird thing right around the time change. I don't even have to know when it is. I start to get up an hour earlier and I make myself get out of bed instead of sleeping so that I can get on the new cycle. So yeah, it's a little, it does affect everybody, this time change. So really just be aware of kind of what is happening. So yeah, so there's lots. So if you watched or participated or, kind of watched later last week's broadcast, I want to check in with you about how that saying hello technique and if anybody actually practiced it and how's that going for you? And if anything changed in your communications. So drop a comment, but I'm going to kind of move on and talk about some other things. But if you want to talk about it, please do bring that up because I wanted to kind of go over that with you. So it's so funny that we get all caught up in the time and the setting our clocks forward or setting them back. And in spirit, there's no time or space. Spirit just is. It is as it is whenever it is. And so there is no time, no space. Wow, Kurt's birthday is the 10th. Hi, Kurt. How are you? Another California person. So the 10th. Oh, we're coming up on. So that's Sunday. So that's the clock change. So happy birthday to you, my friend, my old friend. We're both old, but I haven't seen you in forever, in a million years. So I'm glad you can pop on and say hello. That's awesome. Thank you. Heads up. We are in the pre-shadow of Mercury retrograde, thus my technology issues. Can I blame Mercury tonight? I don't know. I think I should blame Mercury because it's certainly not me. Anyway, we are in the pre-shadow of Mercury retrograde, which means everything is going to start to slow down. It starts for real on April 1st, 2024. No fooling, April Fool's Day, but it's not. I'm not tricking you. That is happening for real, and it runs through April 24th. I am sure that we will be talking about that more in days to come. So the slowdown for this kind of pre-shadow continues after the 24th, though. The slowdown continues for another week or two when it gets up to speed. So, but for now, you may be experiencing the slowdown. I know I am. It's been really challenging and crazy out there, and a little bit chaotic. And Richard said it earlier about it's challenging not to match those energies. So what if we're able to master our energy flow? So it's said, and I'm sure that you've all heard it once or twice, that where attention goes, energy flows, or energy flows where attention goes. It's the same thing, just on the other side. And that is really true. So how's your energy these days? Our bodies tell us how we feel at any given time. So that's part of our energy and knowing how our energy is doing. We might feel draggy, or we might feel under the weather, but how are you feeling? And do you feel like your energy is scattered? I know we talked about, or actually early on, I mentioned about being like a scatterbrain. Is your energy in kind of scatterbrain mode? Are you forgetting things? Are you thinking about things in the past or in the future, things, that are happening? I wanted to talk about what happens and why it happens and how we can change that cycle. I wanted to talk about this because we're in an interesting time in the world overall, where it is filled with distractions and things that take our attention away from ourselves and our awareness. We actually shift our awareness into these other things, and it's almost like a command. And boy, do we make excuses to ourselves for doing it. Oh, I was tired, so I'm going to binge watch TV. That's all your energy going into the TV, right? And just kind of in some ways going unconscious. Maybe we're checking out videos and podcasts, and sometimes we're doing all of that at once. Does anybody exercise and listen to a podcast? I like listening to music because just you can sing and you can move. But we have all this technology. I have it surrounding me right now. We have all this technology, and with all this technology comes these distractions. And it's really quite something. The more distracted we get. And when you're very sensitive, it's even easier. So, for example, I've been burning the candle at both ends, so to speak. I've been working, 15, 16-hour days. And during this time, and it was very odd, I was tired, but I would like snap back. I had to I had to constantly remind myself to call back my energy from the last thing I was doing. And one of the things that I noticed during this time of like this busyness and doing all these deals in real estate and things like that is that the more I called my energy back, the more in present time I became. And it was like calling back my energy after every task. Yeah. And so then and I've said this before, that as a clairvoyant, when these things start to happen to me, this is my growth, I start to look at other people and how they're handling things. And for me, there were moments it felt like I was headed for a crash and burn. I remember telling my mom, oh my God, I'm just going to pass out later. And then I would sit down and look at where my energy and attention was at the time. And I called it back and just looked at how I went right into those pictures, right into those energies that I was dealing with. But when I got my energy back, I noticed that I got more done in one day or even 1 hour than I would have ever thought possible. We use our energy for everything, right? We use our energy and attention to cook dinner, right? Because we have our attention there. What I love here, Richard is saying, my energy is better when I try to surrender some control. And that's really true, because sometimes it becomes literally painful when our energy is all over the place, and then one more thing comes at us and we have to control that thing, and then the next thing, and all the other things. Yeah. And so sometimes we just have to let go as well. We use our energy to communicate with others and relate to others. We use our energy to create wonderful things. We use our energy to dream and to worry and to anticipate. Where do you use your energy? As I continue on with this, just become really aware, even right now as I'm talking, where is your energy and attention? Where has it been? We use our energy is so valuable, and we use it to care for ourselves. We use it to care for others. We use it to plan vacations. We pay attention to detail. And what happens when we're focused on the detail? We might not have our awareness about our body or other things in the room. I always talk about my beautiful little kittens. And if you're on social media, you get lots of kitten pictures and things like that. So you get that. But one of the things that happens is if I am working and I am solidly like just really on my computer and I'm writing something or creating something, the kitten Lily always comes and she reaches up and she meows at me. And she always reminds me that I'm now that's where my energy is. It's not here. It's in that thing. So when we're paying attention to details, when we're thinking about the past or worrying or thinking about the future, we use energy too for everyday things. Yeah. But when it's not with us, when it is scattered all around, and who of you out there have ever gotten scattered in your life? Have you ever felt scattered? Have you ever felt scatterbrained, or like you can't think clearly, or you don't have enough energy to put into this thing because it's all stuck in that thing? That's when our energy and attention is scattered and it's not here with us. And in fact, at that time, we not only don't have enough energy for ourselves, but we don't have an awareness. We are losing some of our awareness. Yeah. And we live in this physical space. So we don't really want to, lose it. Another example is, have you ever gone to the grocery store and forgotten something because let's say you were on the phone and you were shopping, and even though you knew exactly what you had to go for, and maybe you only had to go for 3 things and you forgot one of the 3, that's because your attention was somewhere else. That's the simplistic version. Sometimes we're not paying attention when we're walking and we trip over a curb, or we weren't paying attention in our car, we get in an accident or almost get in an accident, right? So this is not just where our energy and attention is, but it's also about our awareness, because when we're scattered, we're not here, and we can't possibly be aware. It also makes it hard to do sometimes day-to-day things like meditate. I know none of you ever have an issue meditating. Yeah. Tell me if I want to know one person in here who doesn't have any issues meditating. What the heck? What the heck? Yes, I'm moving my computer around just slightly to try and get more centered. But it's hard to meditate. It's hard to create. It's hard to really do anything that we want to do. It's just hard. And that is when our energy and attention is not with us. Yeah. So that is what's going on. Yeah. We can't create something new if we don't have energy to do it. And sometimes we try to push through it to the point of exhaustion. So I'm just curious, and I just want to kind of open it up to the floor. Has anyone ever tried to push through anything? I'm just curious. Like where we are just so exhausted and we just don't even have I have said more in the last 2 weeks, I just don't have the mental bandwidth anymore to do one more thing. And then yet I sit down and I call my energy back. And the next thing I know, I'm working on the next, the next project, the next piece of the puzzle. And to be honest, what I started thinking about was it can be just as exhausting when our energy is scattered as to run a marathon. And I've run 3 marathons, so I could tell you it takes a lot of energy. But it also, when our energy is scattered, we wouldn't have the energy to push through kind of anything. As spiritual beings, we have a lot of energy. In fact, we probably don't even use half of our energy. But if we're scattered doing too many things and don't give ourselves the time and space to bring our energy and attention back to the present moment, we only have access to a limited amount of our physical energy. So lots of different aspects to this. And again, having your energy scattered isn't bad or wrong, or it's not about making you perfect or me perfect. It's about the awareness to recognize when it is scattered and where it is. And if you ever wondered what it looks like to a clairvoyant, when you look at someone, and I'm guessing that, so I'll go back to looking, but I'm guessing that sometimes you have met people who are just very ungrounded and scattered in all over the place. And even everybody has the verbiage for it. Yeah, we all call it something, but you can kind of see that person's not grounded. You can see that person's all over the place. And sometimes if you're very sensitive, it can be very uncomfortable when they're in that space, especially if you match it, like what Richard was bringing up earlier. Yeah. If you start matching that energy, you're going to be ungrounded and it's going to be very unsettling. But when I look in a reading, in a clairvoyant reading at someone who is scattered, you can literally see bits and pieces of their energy in these various other things, whether they are thoughts, whether they are work events, or I can see if they're in the future, I can see if they're in the past. It's the weirdest thing. It's like you just actually see that little spark of light that's not with that person, but it's somewhere off in the ethers or somewhere off somewhere else. Yeah. And they're generally not grounded and there's like a frenetic unsettledness. Like you can see the aura. It's like, it's buzzy. It's even a different color. When your energy is not here, when it's scattered all around, there can be gaps and holes in your aura. And you can even leak energy at that point. Right? So isn't that interesting? So not only are you exhausted physically, but you can be exhausted spiritually as well. And sometimes it's just our mind and where we are at any given time. But when you look at the energy field, the auric field of somebody with its different bands and colors of energy, and generally there's a beautiful flow when someone is kind of in their flow and grounded, you can start to see this wholeness and this beauty and shine there. And when I look at someone's aura, when they're pretty scattered and out there, their energy field literally looks like void of energy. It's like looking at a dull or a dulled down color, a dulled down picture. Sometimes it looks cloudy. Sometimes it looks dark. It depends on the person. But here's the thing I'm going to pose to each and every one of you. If our energy is all over the place, we have to ask ourselves the question, what came into our space while our energy is somewhere else. Give yourself a breath and ask that question. Maybe you picked up some energy somewhere else just because you were not in your space. This is one of the reasons that weekly we meet here. Well, unless I can't make it for a couple weeks. Sorry for that, folks. But this is why we do a grounding practice every single week when I do this live, is to help you ground and help you bring back your energy so that you have it to live your life, so that you have it to bring joy and peace and actually live your life in the present. How many times have you done something really amazing? Maybe you went on vacation or you were just having an amazing time and then your thoughts were somewhere else and suddenly whatever you were doing that was fun is over and you missed it. Yet your body was there. But this is why we do this grounding, and we're going to do that very shortly. But when there is a void, when there are gaps, when there are, I mean, there's kind of energy wax and things that's a separate issue. But this is when we are so busy that our energy and attention is all over the place. And if we are not in our space, if there's a hole, if there's a space where our energy is not, that empty space is an invitation for some other energy to fill it. Egans. Does anybody have any questions or comments? Like, absolutely drop them in. Like, I liken it to that. Isn't it a MasterCard commercial or whatever that says, what's in your wallet? Sometimes I have to look at myself and say, what's in my aura? Sometimes when I'm walking down the street, I look at someone who is, I see kind of their color and I'm like, ooh, what's in their aura? So this is really a time, just the time that we are in the world, where there are purposeful distractions to keep us from getting our energy and attention and bringing it back to ourselves. Because when we have our energy back in our space, we have the ability for clarity. We have the ability to discern the truth from the lie, or it might not even be a lie, like somebody's lying to you, but it might be an illusion or a facade that people are putting out there. But if we're looking left, we're not looking and aware of ourselves. We're not aware of our surroundings. And so we lose some of those abilities for that discernment, that truth from a lie or truth from illusion. Yeah. Give yourselves a breath. I know you're all everybody's like, ooh. And we are actually pre-clearing a lot of energy today. So very interesting. And I'm curious, kind of how this is landing for you, because this has been my growth period for the last 2 weeks. And I have to wonder, if anyone else is experiencing this sort of level of, I don't know if I'm just more aware of how scattered my energy has been, or if my energy is that scattered. I have checked in with some of my clairvoyant colleagues and just checked to see how they were doing, and they've kind of said, wow, looks like you're in a growth period, and that's what I chalk it up to. Welcome, Annette. Nice to see you. And that's checking in from Facebook and wishing Kurt a happy early birthday. So welcome to you. Also, as an aside, if you find yourself doing a lot of sleeping and like you don't know why, like it's one of those, gosh, I just feel like I have to sleep all the time. And yet I have so much to do. That might be a sign that your energy is scattered and you're processing, you're refreshing your body, right? But when we sleep, we also process energy in our sleep, and we go off and dream. But here's the thing: we can consciously bring back our scattered energy without crashing. And that's the good news. And by the way, I was talking about sleep, and I have this fun, handy dandy little new Apple Watch, and I swore I would never wear technology to sleep, lest it disrupt my sleep. But I have to tell you, it's very interesting because I do astral travel at night, routinely, and I remember where I went in great detail. I remember some of the things that were going on, and this watch has actually recorded my sleep, and the REM sleep and the deep sleep and all the different sleep. I guess we have like three or four different sleep types, and I have been just fascinated by the particular things I get up, and then, oh look, there it is, it's right there, it's like right on my watch. So it's great technology is meeting science at some, or spirituality is meeting science at some level. So Richard's bringing up, seems to be a theme for this year, separating truth from illusion. So many illusions. Politics, celebrities, Hollywood, etc., seem to be falling away. And yeah, because what we're looking at is we're seeing old power structures that were put into place. To me, when I look at it, by the way, as a clairvoyant, energetically, it's kind of funny because it reminds me of a movie set. And Janet can probably validate this a lot, but it reminds me of a movie set. It's like all scaffolding and things holding up a facade, and then suddenly it starts to crumble, or and showing the structures behind it were so thin, and so they're not even strong and sturdy. Yeah. We all saw it in The Wizard of Oz, where the Wizard of Oz was this great booming voice. The Wizard of Oz has spoken, and then the curtain moves, and there's this little man behind it on a power trip, we might add. What can I say? But we learned about a heart, a brain, and all those things. But isn't that interesting that this really is that time? And that's why it's even more important that we bring our energy and have our energy within ourselves. Yeah, is so that we can, one could say, stand tall, or stand in our own truth, but it's not truth against or being angry or anything. It's just seeing the illusion, and the more we see, the more clarity that we have, the more the illusion falls away, and the more we can then create consciously a world that we all want to live in. Yeah. So how's that for my 2 cents? So, gosh, for those of you who are just tuning in, because I'm seeing a lot of you here, and feel free to say hi. We're saying hi to everybody here, but welcome to Insight for the Curious and Enlightened. I think I'm going to keep this 5 o'clock Central Time in Chicago, because that's where I'm at, time frame for all of you. I don't know if it's a good time or not. Hey, my friend, Joe's in the house. Joseph is in the house. So, hey, welcome. Nice to see you here. And you came just in time for the meditation. But first, if anybody has any comments or questions about what we've been talking about scattered energy and bringing our energy back, and we've talked about so many things. We're separating truth from illusion. We are gathering together our energy, because that's also something as well. In my clairvoyant class, one of the things that I teach is I teach this running energy. Well, not just in my clairvoyant class, I teach it in my workshops too. But I teach how to run energy and kind of turn down some of the chakras so that we have more energy that goes into our upper chakras, those spiritual chakras. And that's when we can see that much more clearly. So this is where we are, and this is a way that we get to move forward with our own energy to begin to create this world that we want to live in. So give yourselves a breath. And oh gosh, yeah, for those, I forgot to do my station identification. Well, I started to, but then Joe popped in. So hi, see, Joe was a distraction, but a good one. That's my friend, my good friend. So I do readings, I do clarity sessions, I do healings, clairvoyant healing, psychic healing, energy healing, whatever you'd like to call it. And you can find me, if you're interested in a reading, you can go to spiritlightinsight.com and you can check out the different things that are there. I've got some free meditations on there. I've got some classes that are going to be coming up. I'm going to be doing more workshops in the future. One of the workshops that I started, to be honest, during the last election cycle was called Platform for Peace. These meditations are going to be held on Zoom. They will be free, and I will let you know about them, but we're going to do a series because, as Richard said earlier, it's challenging not to match the energies of the anger in the world or the fear in the world. And I am seeing fear being used against every single person because that's what's working. Don't buy it. Don't buy into it. Yeah. Don't buy into your own the fear that comes up. But this Platform for Peace is actually going to be a space to gather up your energy so that you can be in a neutral space as we move forward into this particular cycle. Yeah. So that's where we are there. And oh, Brandon, welcome, Brandon. Brandon's another spiritual teacher, spiritual colleague. He is amazing. I had the incredible opportunity to meet him when he came to town once. It was very funny. He called me up. He's like, "Hey." And he met my kitten. He was one of the first ones to meet my kitten. So welcome, Brandon. And thank you for saying that great topic, because it's just been insane out there. So as we come to a close of our Insight for the Curious and Enlightened, why doesn't everybody just be seated with your feet on the floor, put a pillow behind your back, and gently close your eyes or turn your gaze downward as we work to call back our scattered energy and attention and master our energy flow. Give yourself a breath and just begin to soften and relax. Begin to turn your attention inward. And just notice, while you're turning your attention inward, where are some of the places that want to not let you do that? Where is it maybe challenging or suddenly that you have to go do something or change something, the distraction that comes up? Because the distraction is very often the very thing where our energy is. So give yourself a few deep breaths. In fact, go ahead and inhale some new, fresh energy and allow it to just dissolve any tension or stress that you're experiencing. And then just exhale and let it go. Do that just a few more times. Of course, if you're driving in a car, please listen to this later. And if you know how to run energy, I know several of you out there, I can see my colleagues out there, so go ahead and just begin that running energy process. But go ahead and just breathe and release. And be right here and now. Be aware of your physical body. Be aware of the room that you're in. And give yourself this space where you don't have to fix anything or change anything, but just be aware of that body. As you relax, let's kind of melt into yourself. And then say hello to the base of your spine, the tip of your tailbone, where that first chakra is located. Chakra is an energy center for those of you who are new to this. And just say hello to that space. And once again, be right here and now. Inhale deeply through your nose, feeling the air filling your lungs. You can just feel and experience the rise and fall of your chest. And then I'd like you to imagine a beautiful oak tree out in front of you, large and majestic, rooted into the ground. And then I'd like you to flatten out the top of that tree and just connect that right at the base of your spine, at the tip of your tailbone. Just imagine you are one with the tree. And just imagine that the trunk is supporting you. It's creating a space also for you to release energy. And give yourself a breath and just begin to see a flow of energy moving away from you, down the trunk of that tree, where it gets recycled in the center of the earth. It goes back to wherever it came from. Feel and experience the consciousness of your grounding cord in the present moment. Let it help you, let it support you as you release energy. When your energy is scattered and other energy comes in, we have to release that so we have space to come back to. Give yourself a breath. Say hello to the consciousness of Mother Earth as she wraps her arms around you. Everything is energy. And just notice the shift in your whole space as you do this. Give yourself a breath and be right in the center of your awareness, in the center of your head. And imagine you're in a beautiful space that is comfortable for you, where you're in charge, a spiritual sanctuary that is yours, built by you, created by you, just for you. And begin to own that space as your spiritual sanctuary and your place of neutrality, where you can step out of the energies of the world and unmatch them, a place where it is safe for you just to be and give yourself space to be. Look around in the center of your head and just see, is anybody else in there with you? And if they are, go ahead and just invite them out. You can open a door to the left of the center of your head. I like to put on music and give them little goodie bags on the way out. They can do a little conga line out if you see a lot of people in the center of your head. And then come right back into the center and declare yourself that this is your space. You can say, I am, and repeat your name. And this is my space. Just really own that for yourself. And then pull up a chair and have a seat. Give yourself a breath and begin to let go of any energy that you picked up from the week, any energy that is not yours, anything that you became responsible for this past week, and just breathe and release. Free yourself from the responsibility of any of it and all of it. Let go of your problems or your stressors. Don't worry, you can pick them up. If you really want them, you can get them back after this meditation. Just begin to let go of those just right now and be right here and now as you breathe and release, and just let that energy go right down your grounding. Take a moment and be aware in this space as you move your attention back behind your eyes in the center of your head, that place of neutrality. And from that place, I'd like you to just imagine kind of out in front of you that you're watching things as they unfold, like as if you're watching on a movie screen. And in fact, you can even pretend or put up like kind of a scene out there. You get to make it all up. But begin to notice where your energy and attention is and has been. And you don't need to get caught up in, oh, was it there or here or it should have been or any of those things. Just from that neutral space in the center of your head, just have kind of appear where some of your energy and attention is. And just go, wow, oh, hey, wow, my energy's been there. Your energy could be back in, third grade. Just let it be and notice, where is it? Is it in a past life? Is it worrying about the future? Is it planning for something down the road? Just open your mind and let your mind visualize and see where your energy might be in the past or in the future, where your energy might be scattered. One clue is when you look at how much you're doing these days. Consider how much you're doing these days. You're caring for yourself. You might be caring for loved ones. You might be working and having meetings, and your time is sucked up by work. Some of your energy and attention could be stuck in all you're doing. And just begin to notice where it's all at, and give yourself a breath for whatever you see without beating yourself up or punishing yourself. Just recognize and have your answer about maybe if you've been exhausted, maybe that's why. Maybe your energy's been scattered and not with you. And when it's not with you, you don't have energy. So give yourself a breath as you just think about visualize, see where your energy might be a little bit stuck and a little bit scattered. Most of us have our minds in places where we're thinking about the next thing or the show we're going to watch or the thing we're going to do later today or the thing we did that maybe we said the wrong thing or we do all those things and our energy can get stuck even in conversations. In fact, go ahead and if your energy is stuck in a conversation with somebody, just go ahead and end that conversation right now and give yourself a breath and just breathe and release. And now that you're noticing all these places where your energy might be stuck or your attention is, remember, energy goes where energy flows where attention goes. So is your energy flowing to something and away from you, or is it flowing with you? Give yourself a breath. Just notice. And then I'd like you to imagine with all those things moving around in your mind, I'd like you to imagine a beautiful gold sun above your head. And I'd like you to begin to call back your life force into that gold sun. Call it back from any of those places where you might have noticed that you have some stuck energy in the past or the future or the project. Whatever you started to notice, is it in the next best thing even? Call it back and be right here and now and just call your energy into that gold sun so that you have more to create with. We're going to give that to ourselves in just a moment. Call back any of your energy in things left unsaid or undone or things that are just bugging you. And watch as that gold sun grows and fills with your own energy. And imagine that we are even in a golden room filled with light as you've got your individual gold sun above your head. And then I'd like you to just bring that gold sun in, just gently bring it into the top of your head and let it flow. It's going to come right on down and fill up your head and your neck, your shoulders, your arms and hands. Let that gold sun of your life force energy fill up your chest and your belly and your hips, your legs, your knees, your feet. Begin to fill up your skin and all the systems inside your body. You don't even have to know what they are. Just imagine this gold flowing through you and then expanding through your skin and beginning to fill up your aura so that you are whole and complete. This is the start of how we master our energy flow. And there's no quick fix. This is an ongoing process. It's a practice, not a perfect. It's never a one and done. We get to do this whenever we want. You can fill up with your life force energy and then bring in that gold sun, let it expand into your aura, energizing you, revitalizing you, resetting your whole energy system. Give yourself a breath and imagine another golden sun above your head, filled with life and joy and enthusiasm. You can even put in that gold sun some things that you would like. And as you bring that golden sun in, begin to say hello to every single part of your body, especially those places where you might be feeling uncomfortable or tension or stressed, and just let that gold sun wash through all of that, clearing it out and bringing in your precious energy and the joy of spirit. Give yourself a breath, and you can direct that gold sun to any place that feels or looks depleted. As you breathe deeply, absorb the energy from the earth and from the source. Center yourself in your awareness and feel, see, and know yourself as the spirit that you are, connected with all of life. Give yourself one more deep breath. And as you exhale this transformation into the world. As you bring your energy and attention back to you, whole and complete. Be aware of your body and your surroundings. You might want to wiggle your fingers and toes before you gently open your eyes and look around. And just notice that it might look different around you. Things might look different after doing this. You might feel different after doing this. So I'm curious, what was your experience? What did you notice? As you come back to you, just kind of wiggle those fingers and toes and just really kind of anchor right into your body. You all did great as you stuck with this. So your energy is a lot less scattered right now. You're a lot more in your body. You might be feeling a certain kind of way. Maybe you feel tired. Maybe you feel hungry. Maybe you feel joy. Maybe you're energized. Everybody's going to be different based on kind of where they are. A lot of times when our energy is really scattered and we bring it all back and bring it in, it generally can be that our body is tired. Like I see this a lot and I hear it a lot from people. Oh my God, I'm exhausted. Well, that's because you're exhausted. That's how much you've been doing. Yeah. And give yourself space to be. So if anybody wants to drop a comment about their experience, feel free to do so. As we wrap up our wrap up today, I hope you all enjoyed that. If you did enjoy it and you want to send a little love, there's stars on Facebook that you can send, or there's a virtual, if you're on YouTube, there's actually a link to a virtual tip jar. You can just go there. I'm not even going to put it up, but it is, but actually it's, wait, oh, no, there, it's right there. There's a QR code for that if that's something that tickles your fancy. Feel free to do that. You are very welcome, Annette. Thank you for sticking with us. This is great. I love when I haven't seen Annette for a little while pipe up. So I'm so excited that you're here. As we wrap up our wrap up, check in with yourself daily to see where your energy and attention are. Yeah. And again, you don't have to fix or change it. Just notice where it is and you can call it back. If you find your energy out there, hither, nither, and yon, call it back into a gold sun. Give it to yourself. These gold suns are, what's amazing is imagination is freedom. Yeah, imagination, what we think. No one can take away what we think and what we visualize. So if your energy is scattered, call it back, give it back to yourself. And then also become aware of all of the distractions that scatter your mind. Just be right here and now, or in the future, wherever you are, be there and present, whole and complete. Yeah. And you're absolutely welcome, Richard. It's always a pleasure. And it's kind of fun sometimes when I do these I love seeing the energy reactions, and it seems to me that there's really no coincidence is a good word. There's no coincidence of kind of the subject matter per week, and sometimes when I go into it, I'm thinking, oh, there's nothing there, and then oh my gosh, it always surprises me. So it's great. So thank you, as always, all of you, for being here and piping up. And again, readings and healings are always available. You can find me at spiritlightinsight.com. And there's a booking page. There are meditations there. We're going to be throwing up some of these meditations as single ones on the podcast, and you'll see them as the either videos, or we'll do something fun with them. I've got some things on the horizon for you all that are going to be just super, super, super exciting. So I'm so glad that you're here and that you stuck with us this whole time. Many of you actually stuck with us. I'm like super excited. But finally, for now, enjoy your new energy space. You have all called back a lot of your energy. Enjoy it. And for now, my normal sign off is, what is it, everybody? Keep your spirit light in sight and shine your light brightly in this world. Bye for now.